Right, so the first episode of the Amazing Digital Circus is dropping tomorrow, so I'm going to do my best to figure out what's going to happen in the episode before it actually does. If I get everything right, then I can feel good knowing my ego is sufficiently inflated, and if I get it wrong, then, well, you can go yell at me in the comment section. Also, a quick caveat before we get started, a few of the theories I'm going to be talking about here come from the minds of SethVS and SavDoesEverything from the Digital Circus fandom wiki, so shout out to you guys and thanks for supporting the channel. Now let's get into it. So I think the best place to start with all this is probably, what are we looking at here? What is this show actually about? Which is a mildly concerning question to have to ask given that the first episode is coming out tomorrow. But if you take a decent look, the answer's pretty straightforward. The Amazing Digital Circus is a show about people getting stuck in a VR game. We can assume this based off of all the video game based teasers and the full-on loading screen shown in the soundtrack video on Gooseworks' channel, as well as this line of dialogue from Pomni. This gives rise to the idea that this shot of Pomni in some office space or something is the first scene we'll see from the trailer, because it looks a lot closer to that of a real life room than anything else we see. This suggests that Pomni hasn't been fully transferred into the circus as of this shot. Once she does get fully transported in, we come to the events of the first trailer, which was dropped about a decade ago. We can tell by Pomni's body language and the vague confused murmurs that she has no idea where she is, and appears to be confused by the body that she's in. Kane takes her fully inside the circus after this point, and drops her off somewhere. It's here that we may have the shot of Kane idling in the air here, as he's an AI without directive at this point. But there's also another scenario that I'll cover in a second. Pomni then runs around in the digital circus area for a while opening doors to strange places and encountering glitches both with the objects in the world and herself, which suggests that this place is probably having a hard time keeping itself together, or is in the early stage of development, which would explain the aforementioned Kane idling. After failing to find a way out of here, we see Pomni stumble into the rest of our core cast. This area is where we'll see most of the trailer, and it gives us our introduction to whatever this mess is. We get confirmation from Jax that everyone wants to get out of here, but they can't find a way to. Something strange also appears to happen here, where a bunch of random things fly around Pomni for no reason, prompting this reaction from the end of the trailer.
What did any of that mean?
The most likely course for the trailer to take after this would be for Ragatha to lead Pomni to the rooms in this ominous as hell hallway, where the cast sleep, or at least try to. Ragatha gives her whole shtick about existentialism and the fact that they can't leave while walking past this set of 3 doors. The first is Kinga's room, the second is Zubal's, although the design on this door is slightly different to the one we actually see, which suggests that Zubal probably has replacement parts they can swap out in a similar fashion to Gangel's masks. The last door is the most interesting one, because instead of being assigned to a specific character that we've seen, it has a mannequin in the picture instead. There are a couple of possibilities as to why this is. The boring one is that this is a placeholder image for when nobody is occupying the room, but the exciting one is what I want to talk about. The theory here is that at one point there was a person trapped in the digital circus who looked like this. What happened to them? Well, they
completely lose sight of who you are and why you're even alive, and when you reach your breaking point, something really terrible can happen.
This character, who I'm just going to call Manny for now, tried to escape the circus more than any of the other characters, and got to their breaking point. My answer to what happens when they reach said breaking point is that they turn into this inky black goo, which has caused me so much trouble in the last circus video. This lines up with the location, as we saw the goo coming from one of the doors in this hallway in the first trailer, and later in the new one we see Ragatha getting dragged off by the goo. I believe that this prompts Pomni to yell out to Kane that
We have a bit of an issue here!
and may also be the reason behind this oddly disturbing shot of Pomni staring down the hallway. This is the other potential spot for the Kane idling scene to appear in this episode. As for what happens next, I'm not entirely sure. We don't get much of a hint into that, at least in this trailer, which I think has been done on purpose in order to not spoil the climax of the episode. So that's where I'm going to end off this video. I know it's shorter than my standard stuff, but I just made a 20-minute long Gutcha Life criticism, so get off my back. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. Enjoy the Amazing Digital Circus, and have a good one.